Hello, this is the Aquatune HB, and there's several different units available, different models and units available. I've been running the system now for approximately 2 months, and I'm very happy with the results, the fuel efficiency and the horsepower increase. Aquatune guarantees a 25% increase in fuel efficiency, minimum. If you do not achieve a minimum increase of 25% fuel efficiency, there's a money-back guarantee. So with that and with my study of the way the system works, which is the theory of how the system works, I was very comfortable in trying the system. I tried the system with, when you buy the system, it comes with this unit here, basically the processor, and 1 generator. I added 3 generators. I wanted 3 additional generators because I wanted more hydrogen. So you have that option, but these cost extra. You buy these separately. The unit comes with this here. This part, well, this part is what this car is using. Each car has its own setup specifics that you'll get setup instructions for your particular car, your particular model car. This is the water reservoir here, and this water reservoir is a smaller one. It holds 2 liters of water, approximately 1/2 of a gallon of water. They have bigger water reservoirs as well. This is a small car. It's only a 1 liter engine, so I didn't need a very big water reservoir. I want to go over some things about how the system works. Okay, how I understand the system to work. Basically, this system is 60% hydrogen, 40% water injection. Let me show you the older technology. This is something that I had purchased approximately a couple years ago, and this is a hydrogen generator. And this unit, you can see the size of it. It's fairly large. This unit requires approximately 12.5 amps. Okay, 12 volts, 12.5 amps, and produces approximately 1.8 liters of hydrogen per minute. 1.8 liters of hydrogen per minute at 12.5 amps. Okay. These generators here only require 1.5 amps to make 2.5 liters of hydrogen per minute. That's each generator. I'm running 4 generators, 3 here and this unit here. Okay. The distilled water, which is about 88 cents per gallon as of the date of the making of this video. Walmart sells distilled water for 88 cents a gallon. You can get distilled water probably at just about any market. The water is pulled in through the processor. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to read to you what Aquatune has on their website. You could read this for yourself by going to the Aquatune website. Okay, so I'll read this to you and then I'll explain. As I'm reading it, I'll try to explain what part of the unit, what I'm talking about on the unit. Okay. Aquatune. Let's see if it'll show up here. Aquatune water injection system. This system is 60% hydrogen production and 40% water injection. The water is brought up to the processor by Venturi vacuum. Okay, this is the processor, so the water is brought up to the processor by Venturi vacuum. Venturi vacuum comes from these Venturi nozzles in here. These are nozzles that go into the intake manifold. And if you do a search, do a Google search on Venturi, okay? Venturi is V-E-N-T-U-R-I, vacuum, V-A-C-U-U-M. You'll see that the theory of how Venturi works. Basically, the air that's coming through the intake manifold passes the Venturi nozzles and creates a vacuum inside these, through this unit here, okay, which maintains a vacuum throughout the power band of the engine running. Let me just read this to you. Actually, I'll just focus on reading this to you. The water is brought up to the processor by Venturi vacuum, which is created by a Venturi injector nozzle. This then maintains a strong vacuum signal to the processor all the way through the power band. The vacuum is pulled through the processor at 1200 feet per second. Okay, the air comes through here, okay, and this is the processor. And there's a very small passage where the air can squeeze through like a needle, and that's where you're getting the 1200 feet per second of air passing through that needle-like area, okay? This air enters into the resident echo chamber where the tuning fork is located. This keeps the frequency constant. As the water is brought into the echo chamber, which is, so we have air coming in and we have water coming in, okay, to the echo chamber, okay? This air enters into the resident echo chamber where the tuning fork is located. This keeps the frequency constant. As the water is brought into the echo chamber, the water is violently torn apart by cavitation and frequency, as well as a static charge. This in turn, a static charge is like static electricity. Like if you rub your feet on the carpet and then touch something, it shocks. While water can also generate static electricity, which is part of how the system works. This system here, the Aquatune. This in turn loosens the bond between the hydrogen and the oxygen, hence the cracking of the water. Okay, cracked water is the covalent bond that holds the water molecule together. It holds the oxygen and the hydrogen together, the covalent bond. Okay, I'm saying this myself, I'm not reading this. I'm just telling you, if you want to research this on your own, you can research covalent bond of the water molecule. Okay, so it's basically weakening the covalent bond. When they say cracked water, that's weakening the covalent bond. Hence the cracking of the water. This cracked water now enters into the hydrogen generator powered by a 12-volt power source. So basically you plug it into your car battery. Basically you just hook it into the battery there. Because the water is cracked, which means the covalent bond is now weak and it's ready to separate into hydrogen and oxygen. Because the water is cracked, it is extremely easy to separate the hydrogen from the oxygen using only 1.5 amps to produce 2.5 liters of hydrogen per minute. There are two functions to the hydrogen generator. A small passway in the generator allows a portion of the cracked water to pass through. This stabilizes the hydrogen. This then expands the fossil fuel during the compression cycle. When this mixture goes through the combustion cycle, you have a more complete burn rate, and because of the higher compression and a cooler burn rate, you have more horsepower. The rich, robust combustion passing the O2 sensor tells the computer to hold back on the fuel without using any kind of computer manipulators. This will be easy to see with a computer scanner, as it will show the long-term and short-term fuel trims to be in the negative range. Okay, now I want to compare this system with the older technology. I'm calling it the older technology. That's just what I'm calling it. It doesn't. I know people still use the other generators. People are still using these. I know people still use these, but what I like is a lot of hydrogen. I wanted a lot of hydrogen, and the more hydrogen, this produced much more hydrogen than that unit I have over there, and this takes much less power. All four of these, because they only take 1.5 amps each, all four take approximately 6 amps and produce 4 times 2.5 liters of hydrogen per minute. So basically, that's quite efficient. Very efficient, which is what I like about it. Okay, I'm trying to think of what I can say next to you. What I did here is I set up a little demonstration of a generator, basically. Excuse me one moment. Okay, right here we have one of the generators here. We have a generator. This is one of the Aquatune generators, okay? This here, this part here that screws in, that has the threads on it, that's the part that you see. That's just air bubbles right there. That's air, because we're not powered up yet. See, the positive wire's right here. That's the one you see here. That's this unit here that screws into this, okay? And each of these have wires going to them. See, these are the wires. There's a positive and a negative on each of these, okay? They go around. This is a fuse, okay? And then it just hooks into the battery. It hooks into the positive of the battery and to the ground, okay? So here I have a little setup here to show you the hydrogen production. Okay, I have a meter. I have an amp meter, okay? And this is on the meter is on the positive wire, which is not connected to the battery yet. Okay, here is our little generator, which produces 2.5 liters of hydrogen per minute at only 1.5 amps, okay? Now the amperage will be a little higher here. It'll be like 1.9 or approximately, because that's because we're using faucet water. And the way that this system works is you do not have to use electrolyte, because the static charge, basically the static charge, like the static electricity of the water going through the unit, through the processor, that acts like an electrolyte, okay? That's the way the system works. But here because I want to show you the hydrogen production, so you can see that the generators do produce hydrogen. This will allow, we are using the faucet water. And faucet water, because it has minerals and stuff in it, it actually acts like an electrolyte. So that's why the amperage will be a little bit higher. But you'll still see how much bubbles it produces. So let me go ahead and put my earplugs in. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hook up the positive here. So as you can see, okay, negative. This is the negative wire going to the negative of this generator, the Aquatune generator, okay? And the positive, as you can see here, okay, goes, well, I have it here for now, and I'm going to go ahead and hook it up here, and then I'm going to go ahead and light the bubbles coming out of the generator so you can see them, that this is actually producing hydrogen, okay? Okay, what are we at? We're at 1.6 amps, okay? And let's light the hydrogen bubbles. Okay, so you can see that this is definitely producing hydrogen. Okay. This is definitely producing hydrogen, orthohydrogen. Orthohydrogen is the same hydrogen that powers the space shuttle. Orthohydrogen, okay? Orthohydrogen is extremely powerful, extremely explosive. So, and it's produced on demand. We're not storing hydrogen anywhere. The car does not have any hydrogen tanks on it. So basically, we're producing the hydrogen. This is your fuel, water, distilled water, getting pulled through the system with vacuum. And if you want to understand how vacuum is maintained, like I was saying earlier, just read up on Venturi nozzles. Study Venturi nozzle, or read up on Venturi and the way that works. There's theory behind how it works, because when you're at wide open throttle, the vacuum in the intake manifold is very low, but because there's airflow coming past the Venturi nozzles, that creates the vacuum, that maintains the vacuum signal, as Aquatune says. That maintains the vacuum signal. So that's basically the way the system works. I'm going to do a drive test to show you guys how the system does in the car. I'm not using the hybrid battery on this car. I'm just using the 3-cylinder, 1 liter, 61 cubic inch engine. And to just let you know that without using the hybrid battery, the high voltage battery on this car, this is a hybrid. This is the 2000 Honda Insight. And on this car, when you don't use the hybrid battery and you just run the engine, the small engine, the 61 cubic inch engine by itself, it was very slow, very, very slow. And if you read reviews on this car, 2000 to 2006 Honda Insight, you'll see people talking about that, how the engine is not very fast, and that's with the hybrid battery hooked up. That's how they're reviewing the car. So imagine the power without the hybrid battery; it's even less power. But with this system, I basically turned this into a hydrogen hybrid. So instead of using the high voltage electric battery, which is a 144 volt nickel metal hydride battery, which is 120 D-size cells in the back, I've turned that off and disabled it because this car has a lot of miles and that battery is very weak. So instead of buying a new battery, I bought this system for about half the cost of buying a new battery, and the car is actually faster than it was when I had the hybrid battery, when I was actually using the hybrid battery. Although when you first take off on this car, because it has very tall gears, when you first take off it doesn't have the same torque. So it did have more torque for just when you're first getting going, but it now has a lot more power, throughout the whole power band with this system. So and I am planning on fixing the batteries at some point in time in this car, but I'm quite happy with the Aquatune system, and I wanted to share this experience with you. This is not just a water injection system. It's primarily hydrogen injection, and it also injects water. And even that water that's being injected is also usable energy with the way that it works. And it's very detailed and very technical, and I love understanding the way things work. I'll make another video that goes into more detail about this system. This is just a basic introduction to the Aquatune HB, and to show that these generators do produce hydrogen, okay? 2.5 liters of hydrogen per minute, each generator, at only 1.5 amps per generator. That's very efficient, meaning very low power consumption per the energy that it actually produces, which the fuel that it produces, which is what interests me in the system. And so we'll do the drive test, and then I'll show you how the car runs on the road and how fast it is. It's actually very fast, very powerful, and I'm quite happy with this. So I hope this video was helpful to you so far, and if you have any other questions, I'll do my best to answer. And keep in mind that you can call Aquatune directly, and they are in America, and you can ask any questions you have. Aquatune is highly qualified to answer questions about their systems. These systems are very well made. I'm very happy with it. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna pause, and then I'll start the camera back up when I'm in the car and driving it. Have a good day. Bye.